19 years in jail each for the two men who ran a people smuggling operation in Caerphilly to move hundreds of migrants from the Middle East into Europe. Plus, Rosemary says a routine mammogram saved her life, but Wales falls behind again on breast screening targets. We'll have all the team news ahead of a Celtic clash in Cardiff tomorrow as Wales face Scotland in the Women's Six Nations.
And join me live later in the programme when I'll be finding out why feeding our birds is not very good for their health after this month.
Good evening, I'm Carl Edwards. Two men who ran a people smuggling operation from Caerphilly to move hundreds of migrants into Europe have been sentenced to 19 years in prison each. 43-year-old Dilshad Shamo and Ali Kadir, who's 42, ran a car wash in the town, but a 6-month surveillance operation by the National Crime Agency uncovered the pair's double lives as people traffickers. Well, our reporter Hamish Ouskary has been following the case at Cardiff Crown Court and joins us live there tonight. Hamish, give us some more of the detail to this.
Well, Carl, these are two men who have finally been held to account after investigators first got wind of their illegal activities as far back as 2021. Both of them are British citizens. Dilshad Shamo and Ali Kadir ran a successful car wash business in Caerphilly. As you said, it required a detailed covert and surveillance operation to reveal what else they were doing there. The phone calls that they were making to people across the continent, managing the logistics of smuggling people illegally into the EU from countries like Iraq, Iran and Syria. Anyone who could pay the hundreds, or if not sometimes several thousands of pounds, were encouraged to make the often dangerous journeys on foot or by lorry. They could even pay extra to travel by yacht or plane. The National Crime Agency have estimated that in total more than £1.8 million was spent by people in return for being smuggled in just the 6 months those two men were being watched. The sentences today mark the end point of a long operation to bring a halt to their activities.
Yeah, I think it sends a really strong message to everyone really that's concerned in this, because you obviously got local people that look to these people as pillars of the community, working really hard, but it was all a facade, and that's been uncovered through court over the last couple of years. I hope this also sends a message to those who are considering this type of crime, that ultimately covert investigation teams such as like mine and others will find you if you're doing this, and we'll get the evidence to support a conviction, potentially a court down the line.
And Hamish, this was a really extensive police operation to tackle this crime.
Well, yes, Carl, the trial in 2024 and the hearings this week in Cardiff Crown Court have revealed those immense efforts to bring these two to justice. The National Crime Agency placed listening devices in the car wash office as well as in the two men's cars, and the conversations they heard prove that these two were in leadership roles. They set the routes, they set the prices, and they took the profits that were generated. And today in court, Her Honour Judge Lloyd Clark said that their sophisticated network facilitated at least 409 people to be smuggled in just 6 months. Both men throughout the legal proceedings have always protested their innocence to the most serious allegations against them, and yet today, when the sentences of 19 years each were passed down by the judge, they remained entirely emotionless as their actions and lies finally caught up with them.
Hamish Ouskary, thank you very much for that. Charities in Wales are calling for action to increase the number of breast screenings and help identify and treat many more cancer patients. It comes as figures reveal targets for checks have not been met again, and experts say it is shocking they've only been met once in the last 7 years. Our health reporter Katie Fenton has been speaking to one patient who had no symptoms but whose life was saved after a routine mammogram.
When the sun shines, Rosemary feels especially lucky. The grandmother from Chepstow is a breast cancer survivor, a diagnosis she received after a routine mammogram.
Went to get my results, and that was when I was told that I had cancer, and it was quite an aggressive form of cancer, so that was quite difficult.
How much of a shock was that for you?
It was an absolutely huge, massive shock. I hadn't told my family anything about the fact that I'd been recalled because I didn't actually think it was going to be anything, because I hadn't felt anything myself.
How glad are you that you went to that appointment?
Oh, I mean, hugely glad, because if it hadn't been picked up early, the outcomes would have been, could have been very, very different.
But fewer people are attending breast screening appointments. Recent figures revealed just 68.5% of eligible women went to theirs between 2023 and 24, and charities say cancers are being missed.
It may be that people don't understand why breast screening is important, or they may have concerns about what happens when you go for breast screening, or whether it's uncomfortable or painful. It also might be that it's not as convenient or accessible as it needs to be in order for as many people as possible to go. And we know that NHS staff in Wales are working really, really hard to screen as many women as they can, and also to diagnose and treat breast cancer. But I think these figures show that it's clear that more still needs to be done.
This is the machine you use. How does it work?
So what we do, we bring the ladies too close to the machine. The breast goes on the detector here. This compression paddle comes down. This is what all the women have heard about and hear all the stories about. That just comes down onto the breast tissue. What that does is it spreads the breast tissue out so you can see everything nice and clearly, but it's only as much as they can manage. So a mammogram can be uncomfortable, but it shouldn't be painful.
How long does a typical appointment take?
When we've got the lady into the compression paddle, it's less than 10 seconds before it lifts straight off.
The Welsh Labour government says it's working hard to maximise uptake. Plaid Cymru, Reform UK and the Green Party say they'd introduce national cancer plans, while the Welsh Conservatives want to create a cancer treatments fund. And the Welsh Liberal Democrats say more targeted awareness campaigns are needed. Rosemary says whatever you do, don't skip your screening. Katie Fenton, ITV News, Chepstow.
Now, with Easter and the school holidays falling earlier this year, retailers had expected many of us to be visiting our local high streets. While all other UK nations saw quite a big boost in the number of shoppers, Wales only saw modest growth. Footfall here increased by 1.6% in March, up from nearly -6% in February. Shopping centre footfall increased by 3%, up from -7.3% the previous month. Retail park numbers increased by 0.8%, up from -4.7% in February, but this still fell short of retailers' expectations. Well, Joanne Gallagher is live for us tonight on Wrexham High Street. Jo, I've just gone through a lot of stats, but what are people saying to you there in Wrexham today?
Well, it's a little bit quieter this evening in Wrexham at the minute, but we've spent all afternoon here and there were a lot of shoppers trying to grab a bargain. Now, yes, of course, the weather helps. It's been very warm today and it was warm over Easter, encouraging people to come and spend their cash in towns and cities like Wrexham, where I am now. But they do, of course, face a lot of competition from those outside retail parks. There are a number around Wrexham and people can go there, can't they, and park for free, and people, of course, shop online. So the fact that these figures have been given a boost has gone down really well, and the shoppers that I've been speaking to in Wrexham say they always back the high street.
I'm going out this weekend, so I thought I'd come round and have a look at the clothes and stuff. So yeah, I had a really successful day.
Here in town, there are nice people.
It was busy in here on Good Friday because we had the walks of witness here as well.
If I want to buy something to wear, I like to try it on now. I don't like having to do returns online.
There's been more footfall, but it just tends to be more children and youth really that obviously it's staying steady, Eddie, you know.
So in the main, a really positive boost for those shoppers and shopkeepers across Wales. I've been speaking to restaurant owners today who say they're fully booked throughout the weekend, so great news for them. I have been speaking to some shop owners, though, who weren't convinced with that boost in figures. They said that they were quite quiet over Easter, but the people out here in Wrexham today have been enjoying hitting the shops. Business owners and retailers that I've spoken to, though, say that they are looking towards that Senedd election on May the 7th to see what the politicians may be able to offer them to increase footfall across Wales in areas like Wrexham even further.
OK, Joanne Gallagher live in Wrexham. Thank you for that. Well, there's plenty still ahead in Wales at 6. We meet the group exploring and helping to preserve the natural beauty and wonderful wildlife of rural mid-Wales.
And the weekend ahead is set to be a little bit cooler and a little bit breezier. But what about the rest of the details? I'll have them for you in a short while.
But first, the tense ceasefire between the US and Iran has entered its third day. The tensions pushing oil prices up and global pressure mounting to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, a key route for the world's energy supply. But beyond the impact on people's pockets are those who have family directly involved in the conflict. The small but close-knit Iranian community here have been desperately trying to get in contact with relatives in the Middle East, with one tonight telling this programme she is worried about their future. Our reporter Issa Farfor has the story.
Phone calls ring out, messages go unanswered. Only one tick, never reaching their destination. This is the daily reality for Iranians living here in Wales. With communication often restricted, the silence can be the hardest part.
Very worried. The internet's been blackout for 41 days. And that's not only internet, is the landline as well. So there's no way of communicating to anyone. This is not only me, this is 8 million Iranians living outside Iran. They have no way of connecting to their family and finding out what's happening.
For Ellie, every headline brings a new wave of worry. She's built a life here, but her heart is still with family back home.
I miss my family a lot. I miss home. I'm not going to lie about that. But I miss my family. More than anything, I miss the safety of my people. I miss waking up every morning and go to gym, go to normal life, rather than checking who's been executed today, who's on the line for next day. I miss that.
Now there is a sense of relief on the streets in Iran, but little confidence that peace will last. This crisis has been playing out on the world stage, rising tensions and rising oil prices too. The Strait of Hormuz is a lifeline for global trade and remains in headlines. But here in Wales, the reality feels much closer to home. Kayvan left Iran more than 5 decades ago. Now a shopkeeper in Cardiff, he's built a life here, but hasn't left his homeland behind.
I cannot go back to Iran at the moment. Concern about my family, I am worried about, because I cannot get in touch with my family. My mother, actually, she's got dementia. And she loved to see me face to face, because talking to her is very difficult. I can't talk to my mother, I can't see my mother. And my mother, she's 88.
This is the time that history will judge us.
And before the election campaign began, Kayvan and Ellie took their concerns to the heart of Welsh politics, speaking directly to former members of the Senedd, sharing their experiences of the Iranian regime and the fear they carry for those still living under it.
It's heartbreaking. We're talking about normal people, someone like yourself, someone like me. They don't want anything too big. They just want their freedom. They want to have a choice. They want to have a better life. They're not asking for much. They are getting prisoned for the same reason that if any of us went on the street and protest, we would have that freedom to do. They don't. They went on the street with bare hands and they faced bullets.
And while leaders talk of diplomacy and ceasefire, for many in Wales, this isn't about politics. It's about something far simpler, knowing the people they love are safe. Issa Farfor, ITV News in Cardiff.
OK, it's time for us now to get all the latest sports news.
Powering local sport in the community. Octopus Energy sponsors ITV Cymru Wales Sports Report.
Rugby, and Wales women's captain Kate Williams says it's important her side gets their first win as quickly as possible. The team kick off their Six Nations campaign against Scotland tomorrow at the Principality Stadium in Cardiff. And there for us this evening live is our reporter Gwenan Campbell. Hi there, Gwenan. A big question, no pressure. What do you think their chances are?
Well, Carl, Wales haven't won against Scotland for over 3 years now, and their last encounter was a heavy defeat at the World Cup. But over the last few years, some of the games have been quite close. Now, on paper, Scotland should win. They are 6 points ahead of Wales in the world rankings, but both teams are quite similar in terms of new coaching staff. And in front of a home crowd, it could be anyone's game. A Celtic clash like no other. Wales are ready to kick off their Six Nations campaign against a team they're very familiar with. But beating the Scots tomorrow will be a tough task. Wales have taken home the wooden spoon for the last 2 years. They also suffered an early exit from the World Cup, bowing out in the pool stages. But Sean Lynn has now been in charge for over 12 months. He's had new backroom staff, a clean slate, and he'll be desperate for that first Six Nations win.
It's a high-performing sport, and I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about the group, and I learned a lot about the programme. And those small changes that I've made within the programme itself, the Celtic Challenge changes, what we're looking at coming into camp, I'm hoping we'll start to see the big difference in that.
Alex Callender ruled out of the tournament through injury. Kate Williams will lead the side.
Me and Al have got different strengths, and there's bits that I get to work on now that she's still in camp, but now that she's not on the pitch with us at the minute. But it's been good. I've felt more confident myself as a leader than I did previously, and I think that just comes from the experience of doing it. But yeah, it's very exciting.
Sean Lynn's team will be hoping for a better tournament this year, but they've got a tough task ahead in this fierce campaign. They certainly do have a tough task ahead. They are the lowest ranked team in the tournament, and they don't have too much expectation on them to win games. But we've heard Sean Lynn talk over the recent weeks about consistency in performances, and that's exactly what they'll be hoping to do tomorrow in front of a home crowd. Now, they are expecting around 15,000 fans here at the Principality Stadium. So if you are coming, the atmosphere should be great. Kick-off is at 20 to 5, and the girls will be hoping to kick-start their campaign as they mean to go on.
Gwenan Campbell, thank you very much. Right, at 18 minutes past the hour, you are watching Wales at 6, and there's plenty still ahead tonight.
Coming up on the ITV Evening News, a landmark case as the man sentenced to 8 years for killing his wife after his abuse caused her to take her own life. JD Vance warns Iran not to play the US as peace negotiations are set to begin this weekend. And the countdown is on. The Artemis crew is set to splash down after an historic mission. Join us for those stories and more from 6:30.
Yes, all that to come. But first, are you still feeding the birds in your garden? Well, if you are, charity RSPB Cymru is now urging us to stop in a few weeks' time. They say that dishing out food in the warmer months could be putting some species at serious risk because our bird feeders can turn into disease hotspots. Well, our correspondent, Hannah Thomas, is at a garden in Penarth for us tonight. Good evening to you, Hannah. Well, tell us more about this. This is interesting.
Well, Carl, you have literally just missed a great tit coming past in the last couple of minutes. So I have put down some seed on the wall here in the hope that he is going to come back and visit us. We've seen a robin already. We've seen other birds in the garden this afternoon. But I'm going to be joined now by somebody who regularly watches birds in his garden, John Wilson. He is feeding up his feeders here for the very last time this spring before summer comes in. Because you, John, do not feed the birds here in those summer months.
No, not in the summer, no.
Why not?
Why not? Because in the summer the adult birds are feeding their young
because the young are tiny, things like blue tits, great tits. The young have to feed on natural things like small invertebrates, caterpillars, and they can't be fed on large chunky stuff because they may not be able to digest it. It could actually be fatal for them.
We've had the cameras out over the past couple of hours. The viewers can see some pictures at home now. Sadly, we were only managed to spot a couple of jackdaws, a magpie and a long-tailed tit for that camera lens.
Yeah.
But you know that there are more species than that in this garden. Greenfinches in particular, though, John, are a worry for you. They are for the RSPB2 because of a disease that is impacting these birds. And we can spread it via these bird feeders.
Absolutely, yeah. It used to be, when we first moved here, it was the commonest bird in our garden, and they've declined dramatically. And it's this trichomoniasis, which is a parasitic infection, prevents them eating properly. It infects their gullet and their feet and their legs, and you know, it's fatal in the end. So it's very important to keep all your feeders clean, particularly during the winter.
And there are some mixed messaging, say other people, about this. Some people not actually agreeing with this message and saying, well, we should be feeding our birds in the summer months. What's your opinion on that, John?
Well, it might be counterintuitive for people to say, well, I feed them in the winter, why can't I feed them in the summer? Yeah. But in fact, as I said, in the summer, the adults are feeding their young. So it's very important that they feed their young on the correct food and not on, things like large chunks of peanut, which is the worst thing.
Good advice there, John. Well, somewhere else that is renowned in Wales for its bird life is Lake Vyrnwy in Powys. And a group from Mencap Cymru have been visiting the place to see the sights and sounds of the natural birds and also build bird boxes too. And Ruth has been with them on one of their excursions.
Like something from a fairy tale, this is a magical place where myths and legends swirl around like morning mists over the lake.
It's spectacular, isn't it? It's also rich in wildlife, and I'm here to spot some with a very keen group of birdwatchers.
A group from Mencap Cymru has been coming to Lake Vyrnwy for years. It's their chance to soak up the sights and sounds of a stunning variety of birds.
How often do you come out here?
Every week.
Every week?
Yeah.
And that's despite the bad weather,
Yeah.
you're all here?
Yeah.
What is it that's so special about this place for you?
Nice and calm.
For this lucky group, it's nesting season, so the perfect time to make bird boxes.
Our nest boxes are for the rarer birds. In fact, they're for our pied flycatchers. Those are our red-listed birds at risk of extinction. So you're going to help to make these boxes to put out to hopefully increase their numbers, OK? Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Nice and steady. Remember what we did before?
Have we done it?
Yeah, you've done it now. If I switch this one around now, that should go into there now. And what's the matter now? It's not playing today.
With the bird boxes basically complete, we're ready to explore the vast woodlands and breathe in the fresh forest air.
Do you like days like this, coming out?
Yeah.
What is it that you enjoy?
We get to the house.
Being out to the house?
Yeah.
And coming out into the fresh air?
Yeah.
And being with other people?
Yeah.
What do days like this, trips like this, visits like this mean to the people who come here with you?
Well, it's really important. The partnership between Mencap, Hafren Dyfry and RSPB allows the people that we support to get out in the community. And the skills that the guys, obtain from doing this project gives them confidence to go out and then actually do this at home, do it in other clubs.
So this is the giant sequoia. This was planted actually in 1897, which is actually the tallest tree in England and Wales at the moment.
It doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, what your background is, where you live. You ask someone what they get out of visiting a place like this, and I guarantee we all say the same thing. It's just healing and magical.
And you can see more on that in Coast and Country at 7 o'clock here on ITV Cymru Wales tonight. So, Carl, do not forget that you must get into your garden this weekend and make sure that you're filling up those bird boxes and those bird feeders for the very last time this spring. Don't miss the chance to do so.
Noted. Thank you very much, Hannah Thomas, and tell John he's got a beautiful garden there in Penarth. And he can enjoy it hopefully this weekend. To tell us if he can, James has your full forecast.
Midday Mayan temples, followed by sunny afternoons on the sand. TUI sponsors ITV Cymru Wales weather.
Hi there, good evening. It's been reasonably bright today. Most of the clouds have been quite high up, but we are now starting to see more rain pushing up across the country, and there is more as we head into the weekend. Added to all that, it's going to be rather windy as these rain bands cross through. Hopefully some sunny spells in between. So this is where we're at the moment. This little finger here is the warm front. That's pushing north. We've got the cold front. Around that cold front are the strong blustery winds. Expect some gale force gusts. That then clears away. This low sticks around for the whole of the weekend, and around it is lots of showers. It is April. What do we expect? As far as the overnight period goes, then there goes your warm front. Here comes the cold front. This has got the heavier stuff on it, and as you can see by these wind arrows, it is going to be very blustery. It's a sort of second feature tucked in behind as well, so it's not going to clear that quickly, but it will do eventually. A little bit of winteriness up on the higher ground, but generally it's actually not going to be too chilly at ground level with lows of 4 to 6. So that damp start clears to something a little bit brighter, but here come the showers, some of them quite perky, little bit of winteriness in the mix, and there could be some hail and thunder too. So a little bit of a rough Saturday, blustery winds particularly around the coast. That's all making it feel cooler than perhaps it should be. 9 to 11 Celsius, so at or below average, and fresh because of the strength of the breeze. Sort of rinse and repeat on Sunday. Little more scattered the showers. Similar picture on Monday. Dry start on Tuesday, then more rain on the way as we head through next week.
TUI sponsors ITV Cymru Wales weather.
And that's all for now. Hamish is back with your late update after the news at 10. But from all of us here on the Wales at 16, do have a lovely weekend. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.